dust floats everywhere, and it gets all over everything. I mean, wow. So hey, this is Henry with Woodworking by LPI, and you know, in the shop update video that I made the other day, I had mentioned that I'd possibly go over a review of the air filtration box that I got, the WEN box, the one way the heck up there. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to videotape when I bought it, but I thought I'd go over a little information on it, and then I'll go up there and we'll take a closer look at it, and then we'll look at some of the extra stuff that came, or that I actually bought with it. I bought some extra filters with it to show you what this is and how important it is. And I got my handy dandy checklist here. So what is an air filtration system? An air filtration system, what it does is it takes out, depending on the air filtration box that you buy, I mean, you could do down to microns of fine dust. Okay. Any wood shop, you're going to see fine dust floating around. And if you notice around the shop, you'll notice that it puts this like film all over everything. You know, I mean, I have my tractors in here and such, because it's not just a wood shop, it's a little bit of a storage area as well. And not only that, but it's important to what you breathe. I mean, I can wear all the masks in the world. I wear 2 or 3 different types of masks depending on what I'm doing. If I'm using if I'm doing a sealer, or if I'm just doing sanding or whatever. Dust is everywhere. So I kind of wanted to cut that down a little bit. There's a little mystique regarding these boxes. I'm not going to mention brand names, but some are better than others when you talk, or rather when you go out and do research on these things. Okay. And they also come in graduated, sizes as to how much square footage that they can handle. So, and of course, the bigger the box, the more the price goes up. So, what I want to give you basic up front is I want you to understand that you don't have to spend a lot of money to get what you need. Most of you, I'm sure, I'm making an assumption here, so I'm sorry, probably using this in a small workshop or a garage or a small workspace. If you're really concerned about dust and you're thinking, you know, if I put an air filtration box in like this, it'll solve all my problems. Don't make that assumption. It won't solve all your problems. I primarily got it because I was looking at the quality of air I was breathing more so than the film of dust, you know, that's going on all over everything. However, it does help considerably. When you look at the filter that I'm getting ready to remove out of it, because I waited to do that, you'll see how much dust it picks up. Okay, so there are 2 or 3 different areas that generate a lot of dust for me. One is my miter saw and the CNC, of course, and the biggest one is right here on the workbench when I'm sanding, and dust floats everywhere, and it gets all over everything. I mean, wow. So, excuse me, I don't think it'll solve completely that issue, but it definitely help cut it down. And I'm just being honest here, folks. It'll cut it down, but more so, from my perspective, it'll cut down the air that I'm breathing. And that was my biggest concern when I bought this box. Okay, so got all past that. Let's get to some of the stuff in my my handy dandy, you know, paperwork here, you know, that I always have with me. Okay, so what I bought was a WEN model 3417. This one is kind of like the medium one. They have the more expensive brand. They have, or model rather, and they have a lower model. And the reason I looked at this model wasn't specifically because it's middle ground or the money so much. More so, it was from the perspective of the square footage that it would handle. The dB noise that it makes when it runs, because I really don't want it loud. I know, kind of weird. You think about, you know, how about something loud in your workshop, because you're making all kind of noise anyway, but excuse me. So this has 3 speeds, okay, and it also has a, hold on, it also has a Ironically, it's dusty. It also has a remote, okay, and you can set this to go by a specific time or speed. So as I mentioned, it has 3 speeds, and you can set it on a specific time, okay, time duration, of course. And the dimensions on this box are roughly 30 long by 24 wide by 12 inches tall. It weighs about 50 pounds. And as I mentioned in the other day on the shop update video, it was a booger to get up there, and that's the reason why. Is because it took a little bit to crawl up the ladder with it on my shoulder and put it up there. So you got to mount it someplace high. If you're in a lower ceiling place, it'd probably be a little easier for you to do so. This shop here has 12-foot ceilings, so going up a ladder was a little bit of a challenge. So keep that in mind if you're looking at buying one of these and you have to mount it up on the ceiling. You might need a little help. My wife was gracious enough to help me out on that. Due to the weight, you want to consider the weight when you're mounting it. So what I did was I put 2x6s across the trusses, and I put them into the trusses, and then I put the eye bolts into those crossbars, and I'll show you all this here in a few minutes. It comes with 4 chains, and it comes with 4 hooks that go on the box for mounting it. So the chains and everything's all included. However, what you're mounting it to is not included, so keep that in mind. It does come with a remote, and it does come with the basic filters. I bought these extra because I got a lot of dust, and I'm out here a lot, and I'm generating all kind of floating dust all over the place, so I got extra filters to swap out. The Micron air filters on the inside are cleanable, so you can clean them. And to be perfectly honest with you, the Micron one on the outside, and I'll show these to you, I use the air compressor to blow it out, which kind of probably defeats the purpose of it, but I do it outside. So keyword there, outside. All right. 3 speeds. The lowest speed is 556 CFM. The middle speed is 702 CFM, and the biggest, the fastest speed on it is 1044 CM. It handles roughly, and I had that ready. And of course, now that I'm looking for it, I'm not going to find it. Okay, so it handles up to 1,000 square feet, this model here, the 3417. And it has a noise rating of 63 to 68 dB. Okay, which is actually really not bad. It's not loud at all. You do hear the airflow more than you hear the actual noise itself from the fan, from the motor and the fan inside. And let's see, 1,000 square feet. Okay, so this shop is 34 by 40. It's definitely more than 1,000 square feet. So I would probably require another one if I really wanted to go crazy on this, but I wanted to like I said, to help. Mostly here in the back of the barn, or the workshop. Barn, workshop, basically the same thing. Okay, so the pluses to it are the air filtration from the fine dust floating in the air and helping you out there. It will kind of help cut down on the dust. Those are the pluses. It also has the 3-speed remote for going for different speeds. Depending on what you do, some people use that. I just kind of set it on the highest setting and let it run. And you can set the timer, and the timer comes in 6 and 8 hours, I believe, periods. So you can just turn it on, and then it automatically turns off by itself. Okay, so that's the excuse me. That's all the wonderful information, and it is 110, so it just plugs into a normal outlet. And it's kind of fun finding an outlet on the ceiling, but I kind of rob power from one of my lights. It doesn't draw a lot of power. Okay, so here's some of the downsides to what I've seen on this. I've seen, depending upon the brand, and like I said, I went with the WEN. I've kind of seen where the blade hooked to the motor wobbles a lot, and that causes a problem over time. That it doesn't last that long, and it causes the motor over time to not work really well. It's like anything that you buy. Okay, it's going to wear over time. You do your best due diligence and your best research on it, and then you find out, you know, you could do this. Now, on this model here, does it have a little bit of a wobble? It does. It does have a little bit of a wobble, not much of a wobble, but they did put something on the edge of the fan to help bring that down. I use it probably every other day or so, running it 4 to 6 hours. So I've not had any issue with it, and I've had it now 6 months, roughly 6 months. I paid $229 for this one. I got it on sale at the time. Today's price on this is, as of this date here, which is the 8th, or this is the 9th of January of 2021. The price on Amazon is $309. I'm sure if you searched around, you're going to find maybe a good price on it. The prices do go up and down, but I'll go ahead and put a link for this device down in the description so you can take a peek at it. I'm very happy with it. It's done exactly what I asked it to do. So from my perspective, it works well. Okay, there are other models out there from Jet and other manufacturers. I went with the WEN because it had the ratings on it, had good reviews on it, and it does what I wanted to do. Okay, so let's take a peek at this this right here. Let me get my knife real quick. Okay, so these didn't come with it. You get the basic one. You get the two. There's 2 filters inside the front of that box, and I got extras. One set comes with the box, but I got extras because, you know me, I always like having extra things around. I don't like not having the ability to swap out things on it. So I'm going to open this up here to show you what these filters look like. If you're into a if you know what it looks like inside of a furnace, okay, this first one's going to really make sense to you. Okay, like opening Christmas presents all the time. We just had Christmas, so this should come around a lot more often. Okay, so this one right here is the one that sits just inside in the back, and it has 2 pouches. So you have this one on the outside. I was wrong. This one on the outside, this one on the inside. Okay, and it has these pouches, as you can see here, that go back. And the airflow goes into this direction here, and it catches it, and this is how it can claim it can do the fine micron and pull in the air and capture it. Now, you can clean these things. You can clean these things. They are cleanable, and these don't break down, and you have to replace them as much. The outside ones, on the other hand, well, they probably break down a little more often. I mean, I'll show you when we get up there. I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's definitely gotten a lot more dust on it than that. So that should be interesting when we get up there to take a peek at that as to exactly how that looks. How dirty is that? Because I saved it for this video specifically. Okay, so if you're thinking of your furnace, like your house furnace for your home, that's basically what this is. I mean, if it looks very familiar, you can see that. And I would assume, you know, I really don't know. I would assume, since it has the dimensions on the side, that you might be able to find it somewhere other than the manufacturer. I got these off of Amazon, and both of these boxes for 2 sets was $20. Probably not that bad. Okay. So as you can see, it's cardboard. Okay, that one's metal. This one here is metal, and this one here is cardboard. And this goes on the outside. Okay, and as you can see, it'll tell you the airflow, so you know how to put it in. So this will go face on the outside, this will be on the inside. And it's just like your common furnace for your house type filter. Okay, and just swap it in. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that here in just a minute. Okay, so 2 sets for 20 bucks, and then I got the unit for $229 as of today. Excuse me, I looked at it before I started the video. It's right around $309, but I think if you look around, you might be able to find one a little better. But I'll go ahead and put a link to this in the down in the description, so if you're considering this a little further, you can see that it does help, especially with the air quality. And that was my biggest concern. I don't like the dust all over everything, but what's really cool is the remote, because you haven't got to try and reach up there. There are models that don't have a remote, and how do you get up there? I got a 12-foot ceiling. How do you get up there to turn the darn thing on? The remote works well. And you know, as guys, we love remotes, so we can just, you know, hit it on. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the camera here in a minute, and I'm going to bump up there and take a peek at it so you can see basically what it is. It's a furnace motor with a fan inside and these two filters in front of it. That's basically, other than the little control box on the back. I'm sure if you were ingenious enough, you could probably make one on your own. But this one worked out really well for me. Okay, so let me get up there with the camera and we'll take a peek around and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, we'll be right back. Three. Okay, now we're up by the unit. I don't recommend this, by the way. But as you can see, as I told you, I put this on 2 2x6s across the trusses, and it comes with the chains, but I had to buy my, well, let me make the cameras up there. It comes with the chains, but I had to buy my own hooks to go in there. Now, each one of those hooks will hold 250 pounds. I got those at Lowe's. The unit, when you buy it, comes with the chains, and it comes with the eye bolts. Let me put it up there. The eye bolts that come with it. The chain and the eye bolt comes with it. This is looking at the back of the unit, and when you're setting your remote settings, as you can see, it has 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour. So I was wrong on that time frame. It's actually 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour. And then it'll tell you the speed, and you can manually do it here. And it has a fuse, and then it has a 110 wire that I plugged into my my outlet over there on the side. Okay, this is the exit on the back. As you can see, the fan, if I can get a little close up there, you can see that fan inside there. And this is what, you know, everybody talks about wobbling. Okay, and I really, you know, to be honest with you, I really not, it does wobble just a hair, but I've not had much of an issue with it. I will tell you though, when you get the unit, if you decide to buy the unit and you get the unit, when you go to unpack it, there are packaging protection inside the unit around that fan. Because apparently that was a problem in the shipping that would cause the fan to warp or bend. So when you started up the unit, it would wobble a lot. So they've now put packaging inside around that fan. So don't turn it on until you look inside to make sure that you remove that packaging around that. Okay, so let's look on the other side and we'll pull that filter off and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so hold on just a minute. Okay, so now I'm up on the other side of the unit. We were looking at the back, and this is that filter I was telling you about, which is, we were looking at over on the workbench, which is basically this filter right here. And as you can see, it's held on by a clip here and a clip up here. And you can see how dirty, I'll take a little closer look at it. But you can see how dirty it gets and how much air and dust it's picking up from what I've done in my sanding and such out here. And it appears to be dark dust, so it looks like it's picking up a lot of my sanding. Okay, so we're gonna take this out because I gotta swap it anyway. Okay, wow. Oh, that's really, really bad. Okay, and here's what it looks like on the back side. Now, this has been in operation a little while. Enough time to obviously pick up a lot of dust. Here is the inside one, and it's collected a lot also. So, okay, so we're back at the workbench, and I'm going to turn it on so you can hear it real quick. Okay, and I don't know if you can hear that or not, so I'm gonna go over here by it. Now, as you can see, the chain moving just a hair on the back side there, but you know, It's really not that loud. I mean, it says it does 63 to 68 dB. And the video here, I'm sure, does not represent whatsoever the true sound on it, but I can barely hear that over there. And the remote is a wonderful thing. So, I hope this was helpful for you. I pointed out the pros and cons of it. It's worked well for me. But then again, the way I looked at it was from an air quality, excuse me, an air quality perspective, not necessarily taking out all the dust, in the wood shop. But and I don't think any unit will. I think it will calm it down. I've seen some videos where folks have done that and come back and looked up and went, okay, well, there's no dust here, or if there is dust, it's very, very little. And that's great and wonderful if, if that works that way for you. My concern was more from the air quality perspective. So hope this brought you value, and I hope it worked out for you and got you some information on the WEN 3417 3-speed remote controlled industrial strength air filtration system. Boy, that's a mouthful of words, huh? This is Henry with Woodworking by LPI, and I hope it worked out, and I'll see you in the next video.